So here's a question for you. What could the queen of pop, Madonna, possibly have in common with the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk?
At first glance, you'd think, well, nothing at all. I mean, their industries are worlds apart.
Exactly. One is all about pop culture, decades of reinvention, controversy. The other is building rockets, electric cars, and getting very involved in public policy.
But the fascinating thing is, when you start to dig into the material we've gathered, their biographies, their business strategies, you realize they're using almost the exact same playbook.
Right. It's not about the product, whether it's a pop song or a spacecraft. It's about the underlying approach to power and celebrity, which is nearly identical.
And that's what this deep dive is all about. We're going to cut through all the noise and show you four really powerful parallels between them.
We're drawing from sources covering Madonna's entire four-decade career, her business deals, and also a ton of analysis on Musk's leadership style, from his first principles philosophy to his, let's say, chaotic political moves.
By the end of this, you'll see exactly why people call Musk the pop star of the tech industry.
Okay, so let's jump in with the first parallel, which is probably the most obvious one. They are absolute masters of using controversy as currency.
Oh, absolutely. They are the ultimate issue makers. They make sure at all times that they are the center of attention.
Madonna basically wrote the book on this. She figured out so early that backlash wasn't something to run from. It was, free marketing.
High impact marketing, yeah. She was constantly breaking social and religious taboos, and the sources really detail how effective that was.
Think about the early 90s, the video for Justify My Love.
Right. I mean, it had imagery of sadomasochism, bondage, same-sex intimacy. Of course, MTV banned it immediately. It was way too much for them.
And the result of that ban?
The song shot to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The controversy created this massive public curiosity that, honestly, money could never buy.
We saw it again with the video for What It Feels Like for a Girl. That one depicted crime and vandalism, and it got banned by both MTV and VH1. The uproar just guaranteed everyone knew her name and what she was up to.
It's this powerful, self-fueling cycle. Now, our sources do point out one really rare moment where she pulled back.
The American Life era.
Exactly, post 9/11. Her anti-war message caused this huge patriotic backlash, and she actually chose to withdraw the video. But even that decision shows how aware she was of where the line was, because she had spent her whole career charging right over it.
Okay, so fast forward a few decades. Musk is using the exact same playbook, but his stage is X, the platform he literally owns.
He uses it for this constant stream of disruptive, highly visible, and, very politicized commentary. It's what we could call the chaos dividend.
The chaos dividend, I like that.
Yeah, his erratic behavior, his rhetoric, it all generates headlines. And even if the headlines are negative, they direct a huge amount of attention and value towards his companies, Tesla, SpaceX, X itself.
And the damage from that can be pretty severe. I mean, right after he bought Twitter, he fired most of the trust and safety staff.
Right. It's a signal. It signals that his vision is the only thing that matters. Everything else is secondary.
That disregard for process is part of it. The sources even mention his own AI chatbot, Grok, called him one of the most significant spreaders of misinformation on X.
And the scale is just enormous. His misleading claims about elections, for example, generated over 2 billion views this year alone.
So when you put them side by side on this first point, you see two people who are willing to pay a really heavy price-eroding public trust on one hand, facing misogynistic backlash on the other, all because that friction keeps them dominant.
The attention is just the lubricant, It's not the end goal. It's what enables them to make these huge structural changes, which leads us right into our second parallel.
They are absolute game changers. They don't just accept the industry rulebook, they rewrite it.
Madonna completely redefined what a female artist could be. She wasn't content just being a singer who was, dependent on a label.
No, she became a mogul, a self-determined business powerhouse.
And the Maverick deal in 1992 is the perfect example. It was a $60 million deal with Time Warner that created her own company. Maverick had divisions for music, film, publishing, merchandising, the works.
And she had a 20% royalty rate, right?
Yeah.
Which was just unheard of at the time.
Unheard of. Only Michael Jackson had a rate like that. It gave her this creative and financial freedom that almost no woman in music had ever had before.
And Maverick wasn't just some vanity label. It released her sex book, which was hugely controversial, but also massive commercial successes, like Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill.
Exactly. But then the industry changed. Piracy, streaming, album sales started to tank, and the labels tried to claw back control.
With the 360 deal.
Right, the 360 deal,
Yeah.
which meant the label got a cut of everything an artist did. Touring, merchandise, endorsements, it was a complete power grab.
So what did Madonna do?
She just said no. She rejected the whole model. Instead, she signed this unprecedented 10-year, $120 million deal with Live Nation in 2007.
And focused on touring.
Totally. She focused on touring, merch, side ventures like her skincare line. She knew her brand and her live shows were the real assets, not album sales anymore. It was an incredibly forward-thinking move.
And it paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Her Sticky and Sweet tour in 2008 made, over $400 million? A record for a solo artist.
A record. She cut out the middleman and bet entirely on herself.
So now let's compare that to Musk. He attacks established industries with this intellectual tool he calls first principles thinking.
FPT is basically the opposite of doing things by analogy, or because that's how it's always been done. It's about breaking a problem down to its fundamental truths, the physics, the raw materials.
So it's like instead of assuming a pre-made sandwich costs $10, you ask, well, what's the actual cost of the bread, the meat, and the cheese?
That's a perfect analogy. He applied that to the aerospace industry. The assumption was rockets cost billions. He asked, what is a rocket actually made of?
And what did he find?
He found that the raw materials, aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, were only about 2% of the assumed final price of a rocket.
2%. That's insane.
It's a huge gap. So he developed this metric he calls the idiot index, which compares the cost of the finished product to the cost of its raw materials. If that index is high, you know your process is inefficient.
And that forced SpaceX to just start making everything themselves in-house.
Exactly. It completely upended the slow, expensive aerospace supply chain. So you see the parallel, right? Both of them achieved dominance by taking radical ownership of the value chain. Madonna with her contracts, Musk with the physical manufacturing.
And that intense need for control bleeds right into our third point, this deep, deep fixation on symbolic identity.
Yeah, they both constantly rebrand themselves and use these singular abstract symbols to represent their powerful egos.
Madonna's obviously famous for this.
Yeah.
Every album is a new era, a new persona, the virgin, the material girl, the vixen.
But it's more than just fashion. She uses that symbolic status to fight for a very specific identity.
Especially against ageism.
Yes. In her 2016 Billboard Woman of the Year speech, she was brutal. She said the rule in her industry is do not age, because to age is a sin. She uses her fame, her fashion, everything to wage this very public war on how society treats aging women. It reinforces her identity as someone who just refuses to conform.
Musk's use of symbols is maybe even more literal.
Oh, it's aggressive. He bought Twitter, a globally known brand, and just flattened it into a single letter, X.
It's not just a name change, is it? It feels like something bigger.
It's a consolidation of his entire vision. He launched his AI firm, XAI, which is now merging with X. He's unifying everything under this one powerful abstract symbol. X is the unknown variable. It's the future.
It's a symbol of transformation.
And the sources note this fits his psychological profile. He's often typed as an INTJ, which is common for visionary leaders like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. They're driven by this need for self-realization through these huge, complex projects.
So X is like a statement. It's saying, I'm not conventional, and whatever I create is the new standard.
Precisely. Which brings us to our final, and maybe most intense, parallel. This relentless, all-consuming drive for supremacy.
The autocratic perfectionism.
Yes. Both of them have this singular commitment to their goals, and they push themselves and everyone around them to what seem like impossible limits.
I've read that working for Musk is notoriously hard. One former director at Twitter said working there after he took over was like playing life at level 10 on hard mode.
That sounds about right. The vision is inspiring, but the demands are astronomical. Tesla's co-founder said Musk is incredibly difficult and a perfectionist, but that he inspires this unbelievable commitment.
People working 100-hour weeks.
All for a singular goal, like getting to Mars. And his leadership style reflects that. He bypasses hierarchy. He often ignores data or institutional knowledge because he wants direct, immediate problem solving.
It's all about exponential growth, and the human cost seems secondary.
And you see that same intensity and control with Madonna. Decades into her career, she still has this ferocious pace. She never rests on her laurels.
She's always been called a control freak.
Right, but her producers say, yeah, she's a control freak because she has her vision and knows how to get it. She has always fought for and won total creative control.
And her longevity is the proof. The industry says aging is a sin for women. But there she is, launching the massive celebration tour in 2023, already working on new music. She refuses to become a nostalgia act.
So when you step back and look at the pop queen and the tech CEO together, the picture is pretty clear.
You have four key similarities. They use controversy as a weapon for attention.
They dismantle old business models through radical control. The Maverick deal on one side, first principles thinking on the other.
They consolidate their personal brands through powerful symbols like X.
And they enforce this relentless, perfectionist work ethic to get it all done.
And the sources are clear that while this approach leads to, astronomical financial success, record-breaking tours, massive company valuations, it does come at a cost.
A very high cost. Whether it's eroding public trust in our information systems or prioritizing progress over employee well-being and basic ethical standards.
One expert we looked at even warned about the danger of society modeling itself on leaders who appear totally lacking in empathy. Just because you make a profit, they argue, doesn't mean you're creating value.
So we've laid out these deep parallels between the tech mogul and the pop queen. We've seen how their radical, non-compliant control was the key to breaking open these closed systems. But it raises a really important question for you, the listener. If this level 10 on hard mode culture is what it takes to achieve transformation, is the disruption always worth the implied human cost? Something to think about the next time a pop star CEO tries to grab your attention.